I just put out the video last week on me creating this workbench, and at the end of the video I showed the dog system because that was part of the build, was putting in these dog holes, and I've had several comments asking about the dogs. So real quickly I'm going to go over the different dogs and what I use them for. You have three basic types of dogs. These are what I consider stops. So that's where you can put it in the hole, and then whatever you're working on just goes up and stops it. So this is a metal one that came with the Harbor Freight kit. I don't use any of these. I don't even know why I have it around still. This is a wood table for woodworking. I don't want metal here. Now this is Power Tech. They're pretty cheap. I got a couple of bags of those. They have a nice soft foam on top of them. You can put 3 or 4 of those around and set something on top like the Rockler bench cookies, and gives you a nice solid but soft place to work on. You can also, these are the Harbor Freight ones that came with the kit, these big tall wooden ones. I found them to be loose, wobbly, and I did cut a few of them down because I don't need nothing that tall. But then I 3D printed some of these. I'm going to have the file on printables. And so I've got a short and a tall. So if I'm doing anything 1/2 inch, this is 3/8 inch tall when it goes down. So I can put it up here, and then when I'm sanding or planing or whatever I'm doing, I'm not going to hit my dog. But being that it's plastic, if I do hit it, it's not going to tear up or dull my blade. If I'm doing something over 3/4 of an inch, I've got these that are a little bit taller, a little bit beefier. However, I have not had any problems with these short ones. Now, I designed these the same as the others, with the ones that are about 3/8 for when I'm doing 1/2 inch work, and then this one's about 5/8 for when I'm doing 3/4. So with these, you can just drop them in, and then you've got a larger area to go up against. Now I'm over here on my old table because these are all on 6-inch centers. And I just haven't printed out the ones for the 4-inch centers for the new table, because with this table I had used the micro jig system, which works pretty good. And so I spaced out the dog holes a little bit further, but I find that with the dog holes I can do everything that I could do with the micro jig system. And so I've got these ones that are 90. And you see when they go in there, that's good. And so I know that this is a perfect 90. I probably should have cut out that little corner. I don't know, all the fancy ones have the corner cut out, but a little circle there. But again, I'm going to make some files for the 4-inch ones. And again, a couple of them, I really beat on them with the hammer, something up in here. I think I may have broken 1 or 2, but again, with the 3D printer, these are, 10 cents, maybe, almost nothing. But I like this because it gives you 2 different axes. So this brings us to our side clamping, and these actually work really good in conjunction with our Holddowns here. So I can put that over there, and then if I have a board, I can put it up against the side here. But the problem I had with this table here with the 6-inch, so now I don't have enough room, and this only has a little over 4 inches of travel. So when I come here, it's only on the boards that are exactly this size. A little bit thinner, I could move it in, or a little bit wider, it would come over. So what I had found in those situations, what I would do is I made this little hole down here, and so it's adjustable. I can make it however narrow or wide I want it. And then I can put my board into it here. And now I come in, and then we're good and tight again. And these work really well. The only downside with them is that they can kind of push your wood up a little bit. So you want to make sure you kind of hold it. You see, like I held it down when I put it in. And sometimes if you because you see there's just a little bit of wiggle, it's probably because some of these dog holes are wood. They get wallered a little bit. And so also these are made for an MFT table so that you can reach up underneath it, not having the drawers in it, and has a piece that goes on from the bottom that bolts this down to the table, and then it can't go up and down. I'm going to actually make a extension for this to stick out a little bit further. And that way, when we built our table, we made it 1.5 inches and make this a full 1.5 inches, so that that will give us more bite inside of our dog holes. But for me, that seems to work perfectly well. So that brings us to our third type of clamp, which is holding something down. You know, they got what they call hold fast. You can buy that are, you know, the old school, that are kind of like these, and you take a hammer and hit them down, and the metal flexes just a little bit and holds the whatever tight to the table, and you hit them with a hammer, knock them back up. I like these here. Now this has the same type of action. It pushes back, and it's got just a small type of action with cam. So if you kind of hold it back before you start, because it doesn't move very far, then that one's going to hold that whole board. But I can go ahead and put 2 of them up here, and then again, I don't know if you see the whole table moving. You know, so we're holding down nice and tight to the table. Now, if you need something a little bit longer in there, they have multiple sizes of these, and then you can Now, the funny thing about this is if you watch, when you come down, right there, that is the absolute max amount of strength. If you go past it, you see it goes back in. So I think they should have put a little stop in right there to give you the maximum opening. So just be aware of that. If it tightens up and then it loosens, so you don't want to go all the way over. You want to go right there, and it's not perfectly round. They have little flat spots in here, so you can kind of feel these whenever they come in. So right there. Now I've only got one of them, but yeah, again, that is not coming up. It's nice and tight up into the table. You can also use these in combination. I got the, you can put the little flat ones there. Say I was needing to do a dovetail or something. I can put these here. Center that up a little bit. All right, so then I could sit here and work on the top edge of my board. But say this is up too high above, I don't necessarily have to have the ones on the bottom here. So then if you got something real long like this, and if you want, you can come in here and we can clamp that. If you're wanting to really clamp it super hard, now these long ones, because I've only got a set of the small ones and a set of the long ones, and if I want to put 4 clamps on this, I can actually use the long ones here, and that super tight, and then I can use my short ones on the bottom holes down here. I can't use the long ones on the bottoms because they'll go in and hit my drawers, but I could also take this one here out, put my long one up here, super tight, and then I can come back. As you can tell, I don't use these bottom holes very much. So this one's still nice and tight. Give it a little tap there. And then once again, I can actually pick the table up with the board. So I will put the links in the descriptions. I'm going to try to use Amazon links since over here most people like Amazon. But I have some of these and these I've got these both on Amazon, but on Amazon I could only get the 20 millimeter. Now that new company that's coming out, Temu, I found these with the 19 millimeter version, and so I am going to put, I don't know just how their links work, but I'm going to try to put a link in there just because that would be a lot more useful and you wouldn't have to modify. Also, when I get it, I'll try to get a little adapter to go in here. These here, I will make a 4-inch version for these tables, but then I will also try to make an adjustable version of the 90 and of the straight bar here, so that we can use that. Maybe I'll make a 4 and an 8-inch version. That way you can span 2 holes, and put those 3D files up on printables when I get a chance. So if you don't see the link, put me a comment down, and that'll remind me I need to get in gear and get those things designed and put out for you. So hopefully that helps, and let me know if it doesn't. And if there's some other type of dog that you would like to see, go ahead and put a comment in the link, and I will go ahead and try to create a file on that and put it up on printables for you also. Thanks a lot.